Excuse me. Hey, all Chris from Estry Cleaning, clean windows of the Far Coast. Excuse me while I belch everywhere, it's fine, don't worry about it. I've had, what have we been up to? So I've had a couple of interactions on Saturday. I spoke to a couple of subscribers. Thanks very much to you guys for interacting and supporting the channel. It does mean a lot, even though, like I say, in the grand scheme of things, we are a small channel, but I do value each and every one of our subscribers, so thanks very much for that. Yeah, so we had a couple of conversations with a couple of subscribers, and there seems to be a recurring theme for about 4 or 5 people was marketing and leaflets, and a number of people not getting too much in the way of joy out of their marketing campaigns, their leaflet drops, their canvassing on the doors. They're really struggling. Okay, so in the nicest possible sense, and I don't mean to sort of insult anybody, it's not my intention. I'm only here to offer help and advice to those that wish it. To those that don't, not an issue. But in my humble opinion, sometimes, if a marketing campaign isn't working, you're not yielding too much in the way of leads, you have to ask yourself, are you doing everything right? Not that you could be doing anything wrong, but are you doing everything that you can to make life easier for the customer to reach you? Or, you know what I mean? Are you being as attractive as you can be to bring in customers that are prepared to part with their hard-earned? Okay, so I did have a number of discussions. We've had Peter from Croydon, we had Dominic from St Helens, we've had not from St Helens, sorry, he's from Wigan, don't get the two mixed up. Sorry. And then we had John from Blackburn as well. So these questions seem to do the rounds quite a fair bit, to be honest with you. So look at your marketing strategy. Are you putting out attractive leaflets? So the leaflets themselves, okay, I do keep showing my leaflets a fair bit, okay, but we're going to go through a few bits and pieces on the leaflet as to why I think this leaflet is successful compared with others that we have run. So up until probably about within the first year, I did have a logo as such. It was a Billy Basics. I haven't got any of them actually. It was a Billy Basics Estry Cleaning, and there was 4 tiles underneath it. And if you go onto our Estry Cleaning's Facebook page and scroll, look through the images, you will see my original sort of effort, if you like, at a logo type marketing effort. Okay, and as with most things, you do learn lessons as you go. So how it went from being what you see on the Facebook page to what we have here with the EC and the logo, etc., and all that sort of stuff was a gradual process. I did not, believe it or not, start this business and know everything about sort of marketing and stuff like that. And I'll be quite blunt and honest with you, I still do not know everything about marketing, but I am happy to share what knowledge I have with you guys. Okay, so on a leaflet, okay, most people make the mistake of thinking they have to give war and peace, throw the kitchen sink at the customer and let them sort of marvel at all the services that you offer. And often it can just be downright off-putting. Nothing personal, but when I see a leaflet and it's lots and lots of writing, you automatically just tune out. Okay, excuse me, just had my dinner, forgive me. You can sort of automatically just want to tune out because your eye is not drawn to any one thing in particular. It's just drawn to a big mass of writing for which you have the privilege of trying to pick through the services that's on offer. And we've all done it. I did it myself. I wanted to show everybody I'll do everything, blah blah, and all this sort of stuff, and and just go absolutely nuts almost with the customer. They'd take one look at it and just go, yeah, you're all right. So image is everything. Okay, if it looks professional, okay, then it will put across an image of a professional service, company, individual, whatever. Okay, so with our leaflet, we've just gone simple. Okay, there's a handful of writing, some bullet points. Just show that to the camera. There we go. And then contact details on the bottom, landline and a mobile phone number, and obviously the EC logo on the top. So you've got, on that leaflet, you've literally got, as you look at it from the top to the bottom, who are you, what do you do, how do I get in touch with you? Bosh, nipped, happy as, you know, happy as Larry. Okay. So again, the colors, I did have a conversation with one of the subscribers over the weekend, and I'm not going to name and shame. I'm just, as an example, I'm sure there's nothing personal meant by it. I'm not criticizing anybody as such or pinning blame on anybody, but I noticed that some of the leaflets that people have sent me, they're saying, well, that's my leaflet, you know, what do you think, and all this sort of stuff, which, brilliant, you know, thanks for doing that. And obviously if I can impart any knowledge onto anybody, then fantastic, and if not, then, you know, take it or leave it, it's not a problem. But some of these leaflets were really good, and others just needed tweaking, and I do mean little tweaks. I don't mean, right, just scrap it and overhaul sort of thing. Little tweaks. So for example, color schemes can be quite important when you think of something that is clean. So if you're, for example, if you're a cleaning company, you know, associate the color white, as in white linen, white sheets, you know, white tile floor type effort is white. Okay, so when you know that when a tile is clean, if it, you know, if it's a white tile and it's absolutely pure white, you know it's clean. So then you put a logo onto a white background. It's nice and clean, it's nice and clear, there's no messing around, there's no ambiguity. You know, it's about, you know, the cleaning is a service that you offer, and that's what I wanted to go for with the estuary cleaning sort of leaflet. Okay, bit of a picture denoting what we do. There's a guy there with a water-fed pole, nipped, happy days, and then it's literally a case of using the color schemes within the logo in the writing, so that there's a bit of marrying up with what you offer with the brand, and there's almost sort of identify with that. So on there also, it's, you might offer, for argument's sake, 12 services, and a number of people that have spoken to me say, well, Chris, I want to sort of, you know, get known for these services and all this sort of stuff, and I just want to throw as much information out there. And there's a lot of logic in that, is you know, is if you say to everybody, this is what I do, bah, and it's literally the whole sort of, you're throwing out the whole, you're literally setting your stall out in front of them. And that can work if it's presented properly. But me personally, you've only got a small leaflet there, okay, and you want to make as much use of that space as possible. So for argument's sake, I might offer 12 services, but I want to be known for a key, you know, 3 or 4 maybe, okay. And the way I found it was easier to advertise all the services was to get the inquiries coming in first, and then, you know, either upsell or, you know, sort of talk a bit more in depth with customers about what other services you offer. Okay, so for example, for us, we offer UPVC cleans, we offer you know, gutter fascias, soffits, all this sort of jazz. We offer jet washing, we offer this, we offer that, we offer the other. Right, fine. But on the leaflet excuse me, on the leaflet we have window cleaning, jet washing, gutter clearing, and then the fourth one is and more ... And the and more ... is almost a method of sort of eliciting questions from people that sort of say, well, actually, do you do this also? Do you do that? Do you do the other? And this is a good thing, because in eliciting these kinds of questions from customers, you're identifying potentially new avenues and new markets, new options to add to your business. So for example, initially when I very first started, I did not offer deep cleans, fascia boards, all this sort of stuff. I was just like, no, window cleaning, gutter clearing, jet washing, nipped. You know, when I settled on what it is I wanted in terms of window cleaning, those were the core services that I was offering. But then the and more ... it almost elicited questions from people saying, well, you clear the gutters, but can you wipe the soffit boards down? Can you clean the soffit boards as well? And it was something that really, as a noob, as a guy starting out, I didn't actually see there being a market for that. You know, in so much as a lot of people go for it, and you'll be very surprised at just how many people will go for that. And that was just me sort of trying to sort of put out into the world what it is I offered, and then, you know, if someone wanted me to perform that service, then spotty dog, happy days. Also I've got the website. If you don't have a website, it's not the end of the world, especially when you're starting out. Really, you don't have massive need for a website when you're starting out, but it is the sign, in most people's eyes, it is the sign of a professional business, that a business that can afford to spend, you know, 800, 900 grand on a really, really good website. So, you know, it is perhaps worth in the future getting yourself a website. But certainly the social medias, I mean, I've only got Facebook on there, even though I've got Instagram, which I've only recently gone on, to be honest with you. Obviously the YouTube, but I don't advertise necessarily that I'm on YouTube. That's something that I'll probably do in the future. But again, a lot of customers don't really want to know about how I deliver window cleaning and all this sort of stuff. That's mainly for people starting a business, so it's not really directly relevant to a customer. But, you know, so just choose which social medias you go with. I've also got under a landline, and a lot of people dismiss the idea of having a landline. They just think, no, I'm just going to put a mobile phone number on there and happy days. All power to you. If that's what you want to do, fantastic. But in my humble opinion, it's not so much putting the landline number on there is a problem. Some elderly people won't call someone on a leaflet if they don't have a landline number. And rightly or wrongly, it's because they believe, or you could be fly by night, you could be gypsies, for example, setting up doing tarmacking and stuff like that, don't generally speaking have a fixed phone number. And it sounds daft, really. I mean, in this modern age, do most people care? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that having a landline number on your leaflet is massively important? In my humble opinion, it helps me reach a market and go for elderly customers. Elderly customers, generally speaking, will not call someone, a contractor, a workman, a tradesman, whatever, if there is no landline number. Okay, just let me know your thoughts. So basically that's all there really is. And as far as pictures go, these aren't stock images. I don't tend to use stock images, to be fair, because there's always a chance that someone else is using them as well. So we've just simply got a picture of that's my arm there, scrubbing a solar panel. And again, because solar panels isn't written there as a service, but when you turn it over, you see a guy cleaning solar panels, so you think, oh right, well that must be the and more bit, So again, it's all about eliciting communication from a customer. Listening, doing more listening than doing talking is the key. I do enjoy a good natter with customers, but when it comes to giving a quote, I will say very, very little. I will be the guy that listens. When the person that is talking to me has finished with what they've got to say, I will then sort of interject. I will then sort of try and gain more information. I will see if there is something that I can do to, sort of as a service that might convince them to come on board as a customer, or convince them of the value of the service that I offer. But I don't go out there with the whole cold calling mindset of I'm going to sell this and blah blah. And you do get a lot of people who do the cold calling side of marketing, and it's interesting because you see a lot of people will just direct message you with a pitch. This is who we are, this is what we offer, blah blah blah, can we sign you up, and da 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 da. It makes me laugh. You don't talk to people like that in real life. So what makes you think it's going to work if you direct message someone like that? It doesn't work. People buy off people. They don't buy off a pitch. If you pitch people cold, try it for yourself. If you don't believe me, go and walk up to someone on the street and say, I'm a window cleaner, you want window clean, blah, 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 and just vomit all over the customer, kind of thing. Then if you think you can get customers that way, direct message me, honestly, or leave a comment in the comment section, because I'll be extremely interested to hear how that approach worked. But in my experience, really, you get to know the customer, or you advertise what it is you offer. The customer reaches out, okay, and then you elicit a conversation. And then once you've asked your questions, close this, engage these, and there's a reason why we've got one mouth and two ears. We're designed to listen more than we talk. So it might be, that's nature's way perhaps of telling you, to listen more. Listen to the customer, find out what they want, and when they're finished talking, then you can either, establish what it is that you want to do, you think would work for them, how your approach differs from other people, etc., and all this sort of stuff. And that is your time to shine. When the customer stops talking, that's your time to shine. But how many times have you been to a place where you're ordering something, you're ordering food, for example, and I get this a lot. I might take the wife, honest to God, the amount of times I've almost sort of, wanted to throat punch someone. I hate it when people interrupt me. The person comes across, they're very polite and and then they say, right, Mr., what would you like? And all this sort of stuff. And then you go through the mental list in your head. I want this, I want that, I want the other. And before you finish talking, they say, well, do you want that with that? And it's like, well, I'll tell you what, how's about you shut up, you let me finish talking, and then ask me these questions at the end. You know what I mean? If you don't like being interrupted yourself, then I'm certainly not, I don't like being interrupted myself, so I'm not going to interrupt someone while they're talking. I don't know, that's just my way of thinking, but that's in a nutshell for the leaflets. That's really all you need, to be honest with you. Where you place them and all this sort of stuff does sort of play into it, and in terms of sort of going for the right market, going for the right customers, I find that when it comes to sort of houses and stuff like that, I'll choose areas where I suspect they're not the the worst in the world, but you think to yourself, well, you get an idea for these areas where perhaps there's a bit more sort of disposable income. There's not a grotty area, there's not like sofas in the street, you don't feel like your van's going to get nicked when you park up to clean someone's windows. That's always helpful. So any other bits and pieces, guys, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. All the very best.